Hello and welcome. My name is Jackie and I am a demonstrator from the UK living in the East Anglia on the Suffolk-Norfolk border. So welcome to our fabulous weekend. Wasn't Leanne's project lovely? Love the card, love the shaker. I have got the papers and I have got the stickers, but I haven't got anything else in that suite. So, I've got the two-tone card, which goes absolutely brilliant. So it takes it out of deciding what colours you need to do. The two tones already in there for you. Anyway, yeah, so thank you for joining me. Hi Rose, thank you for watching. At least I know I'm in the right place. So I'm going to put you down onto the desk and we can get crafting, so bear with. Okay, so you should be down there on the desk. I got a bit worried there. I thought I was on the side, but no, it was my catalogue. So yeah, so we're doing the new mini catalogue. Apologies for my ladies. I was a bit late in sending them out, but if you haven't received yours, just let me know and we can I can get them sent out to you. So I'm going to use something that's a little bit different, and that's on page 66, and it is the Addressed to You stamp set, and this is absolutely perfect for your envelopes. If you want to decorate your envelopes, they are going to be the first card that has been that's going to be opened, because they just look so pretty. And what I love about this set is that you've got your lines for writing your address. If like me, you always write on the wonk, and then it's for all occasions. So you've got these lovely trees which would be perfect for Christmas or a man's card, and then you've obviously got the snowflakes, the flowers and the balloons, perfect for all ages. We all love a good balloon. And then if you're a demonstrator, or if you work in an environment where you've got team, you know you can put your team on there as well. So it is a lovely set to have in your stash. So I put that to side. So I'm going to team it up with an old favourite, and this is the sorry, I've got that upside down, the Perennial Lavender set of papers. Love these, and so they're the papers I'm going to use, and I'm also going to be using the purple fine shimmer gems as well. Absolutely love my lavender colours. And my tool that I'm going to be showcasing, I'm actually using here, it's the glass mat. So I'm going to be taking you through what I love about the glass mat, and actually this is the first time I've ever owned one. I've never had one previous, so I can't comment on any other brand. So let's just have a look at the stamps so you can see those hopefully a little bit clearer. And do you like the new packaging? Brilliant for your saving space. They're a little bit taller than our normal ones, but they're the same size as the dies sets as well, so they all coordinate nicely. So do put in the post what you think, or in the chat as what you think to those. So the card that I'm going to show you today is this one here. It's just flipping over the corner, and then I've done some fussy cutting, and I've put, that should be linen thread. I'm not quite sure what that thread's from. I think it might have been one from one of the kit collections, but I couldn't find my linen thread, so that's the one I used on there, but I have found it. And then inside I've just done a little bit of stamping again as well. So let's bring over my paper trimmer. With the glass mat, it's lovely because your paper trimmer will go on there and it's very sturdy, so you're not sort of on the wonk at all. Right, so card So I'm just getting some, I think this is Highland Heather card, and I'm just going to cut that in half. Whoops, getting attacked by my gems. Okay, and then I'm going to score that in half, oops, at 10.5. And then you won't be able to see, but when you're scoring your card, where I've scored it, I've got a little indentation, and then on the other side, it's slightly raised. So you need to have it on the slightly raised, which is the inside of your card. And then we need to find a ruler and a pencil. Let's make sure I don't knock everything off. And then from this right hand side, you want to measure up from the bottom, whoops, 5 centimeters. Now actually I could use my grid here. Oops, am I off the end? So if I wanted to do the 5 centimeters, I could use my grid, but with the lighting in here, it's not so good. So I'm just going to mark my 5 there, but you could count along there if you wanted to. With the glass mat, here in the UK, we've got the centimetres going down the left and along the bottom, but I have a feeling that in the US and Canada, you've got the inches doing that, and then we've got the inches on this side, and you've probably got the centimeters where we've got inches. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm just going to bring my paper trimmer back again, and I'm just going to bend that card, because as I say, the lighting in here is not very good. Oops. So what am I doing? So I'm going to put in my central line and my pencil mark. If this goes wrong, it doesn't matter. I have got another one somewhere else. So just scoring diagonally. So when you fold your card, oops, hopefully this will work, but as I say, I've got another one. You can then just fold that back. Okay, but I think I might have done that on the I don't think I might have been straight when I was doing my scoring. Right, let's just try and work with this one, and just using your bone folder, you can just do those flaps. That is still slightly over. I'm going to bring my other one in, which is perfect because I had my my light on it. Okay, but you understand what I'm doing. So you're measuring up, and then you're scoring, and then when you flip that over, that goes down like that. Okay, so we need to bring back the paper trimmer again, because I need to cut 2 pieces of white card, and that is 14.4 centimeters. So you're just going down just slightly, whether it's 1/4 of an inch if you're doing it with the US letter style, or a couple of 8ths or something like, or an 1/8. It depends how wide you want your border. So that's 14.4 by 10. So that should be, I'll do that one this way. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those evenings where things are going to go, yeah, 40, so wrong. So that's by 10. Okay, so you need 2 of those, and yeah, that is the wrong size. I thought it might have been. Let's just cut that one again. I need to try and work out my lighting. It's there. So you need 2 on your basic white. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in a piece of DSP, if I can find it. And this is the same as the DSP I used on my original card. And the only reason I'm using this, I've just got cut-offs on my paper because I love it so much. So that is going to be 13.9. Oh, nearly cut it wrong again. Oh, yeah, 13.9. And you want that 9.5. Okay, so we've got our 2 pieces of card, our matte layer, and then we might as well do the my other bits. So this is the measurements. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you. So I now need to do a DSP at 9 by 4.3 centimeters, and the DSP I chose was this one, and that's got that one on the back. But I just thought, because it's going for a for the corner, it needs to be plain. So my triangle is 9 by 4.3. There we go. 4.3. And then I need a piece of basic white, so that will be the matte layer, and that needs to be 9.6. That's it. And that's got to be 4.6. Okay. So with the white layer, we just need to cut that on the diagonal, and it doesn't matter which way you go, because obviously the front and the back are the same. But with your paper, you need to do left to right. So I'm going from the left corner to the right. And then hopefully, if I bring in my card, she says, that will, let's do that one. That should marry up. And if you find that you want it, the border a little bit bigger, just on that long edge, you can just cut a sliver off. So I started in the middle and then I went up and down, which helps with your cutting. Okay, so if I bring that in, then that's just got a slightly better border. Okay, so my paper trimmer, I think, can go away. So, oh no, I do need the paper trimmer back. See, I'm all flustered tonight. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to glue my DSP to my basic white, and I'm just using my Tombow. And then once you've put that on, you can see that there's a nice little border all the way round. And I've just moved that paper, so you've got a little bit of time before that sticks firm. Once you get it in place, just don't move it. See, today I'm showing you all the things not to do. There you go. That's better. So I need my ruler and pencil again, and then on the front of your designer series paper you need to just go a fraction down, so 4.9, and then make a little mark. Any marks can be removed afterwards with an eraser. Bring my paper trimmer back, and then we're doing it from corner to your mark. And then you could use that for something else if you wanted to. We don't like to waste, do we? So we can glue this down. We'll get that glued down before we start stamping our flowers. So just a little bit of Tombow there. And then that should just fit under the flap, like so, with a nice little border. Then this can be glued down. And then just use your bone folder just to press that down. And then we can get our strips of card. So this is a lovely card for using up all your little leftovers. And then that can go on like that. And then we just bring along that DSP. You could use card if you wanted to. You could use your two-tone card and emboss it to give a little bit of texture. You know, you can just do whatever you like. So that is the front of the card finished. Okay, so now we can do some stamping. And I've got my flower and my my oval, and I've just noticed I've got some ink on that corner, so I'm going to bring the chamois in. Now this chamois comes with the glass mat, lovely big chamois, and it's very thin. If I bring in our normal chamois, you can sort of see how sort of squidgy that is, like a foam pad, whereas this is really nice and you can sort of scrunch it up. Perfect for cleaning on your mat, and obviously on your blocks or even your stamps you can do. It will dry out, but you can keep it in either a seal-proof bag or even one of the stamp cases, which is online. I think you get a set of 3. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my Memento Black. Now I love Memento Black, but I don't like the felt pad, especially with the solid stamps. Do you remember a few years ago we had the little Scotty dog? Oh, that was a pain in the butt trying to get a lovely image. I can't remember who suggested it, but we do an uninked classic pad, and it comes with the white ink. But if you don't use your white ink in it, but you use your Memento in there, it is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend it. And you could use ink spots for your white ink, so you know, so you've still got something to see. Look, that's how I've done it. I've caught it. So I'm just going to stamp down in the corner my flowers. Okay, I'll get my chamois again. So it will stain, this chamois, but all you need to do is just rinse it under the tap and you'll be fine. Now, will that fit on there? Yeah, that will fit on there. So if I bring this one along, then we can stamp another set of flowers on there. Oh, I need that. Okay, so we need to ink up our oval. Put that down. And then ink up our flower. So you're just sort of lining up and then going down. And there's your images there. Now you can notice that on the side of my my grid thing, I forgot to yes, I did thank Leanne, so I can get that off. I showed you my my stamps, so I can cross that off. I've spoken about some of the glass mat, but I'll go more on that later. So write your notes on here. Are you watching this tutorial and you want notes to write down or measurements? Write it on here. My only thing about it is being left-handed. I've got to write over this side, so which is why my writing is horrendous. So now we're going to colour it in our flowers. Now you could use ink, or I did use the pastels on this one. The pastels are still available online. The pastels I've got are the old ones, so I think there's just one colour that they changed in the new set. But I'll show you how I use the pastels later. So what we can do is get my paintbrush. So I've got a water brush. So you can either colour in on using your lid, or you can put it on your glass mat. Use your glass mat as a palette. Okay, so I'm going to use Shaded Spruce. Now I know you're supposed to use Stays On with when you're watercolouring, but I always think that if you don't overload your brush with water, you can get away with it. So they're my leaves. So just painting. I mean, obviously you can take more time on this than I am. Just the only thing is just make sure that you don't put your project in the ink. So has anybody got the glass mat? It is a considered purchase. It is £56 here in the UK, but as Leanne pointed out, you get hostess rewards starting from £20. You then get 10% for hostess rewards. You've got your bonus vouchers. So you know, you could use your rewards and things like that, and your bonus vouchers. Ask for it for Christmas. Got a long wait till Christmas. For birthdays or even Valentine's would be a good idea. So just picking up some ink there. And it is nice to stamp on, because I thought with your stamps, to use the foam mat, stamping mat, but actually when you do ink up your stamps nicely, not like I think I missed it slightly there, it does stamp really nicely on here. You could as well, if you wanted to heat emboss your images, that would make a nice black defined line. You can heat your the powder on the glass mat. It is heat resistant. Obviously you don't want to iron your clothes on there or anything, but you know, sort of for us crafters, it is really good. And then you've got your chamois to clear up any mess that you've made on your table. And it's so much easier sort of doing certain things with the glass mat, which you could do with your grid paper, but your grid paper, you can't pick ink up off of it, you know, so, and obviously grid paper, it gets to a point where you have to throw it away because it's all messy, but with your glass mat, you just wipe it away, and there you go. So there's our insert, so I'll leave that. And then I've just got to cut my images. Now, if you wanted to, with this, you could mat and layer it, sort of make a, stamp it on a rectangle and mat and layer it on a textured note dies would be good. But I decided that I would tackle the hard way and do fussy cutting live. So hope Sandra's not watching me. She's the queen of fussy cutting. So the idea is you're moving your paper, not your scissors. So I'm hoping I'm doing it right. And then just going round. Like so. So if you decorate your envelopes, how do you decorate them? Do you do designer series paper? Do you stamp on them? Put in the group chat what you like to do and whether these stamps will inspire you to decorate your envelopes if you don't. I must admit, I always forget to, and especially when I'm doing these lives, I watch other people and I think, oh, I should have decorated my envelope. Well, these ones are going to be on hand, you know, when I'm making my cards. So I think they're going to be a keeper. And then just coming in like so. Oops. I'm trying to rush it. You shouldn't rush these things. I'm coming a bit too close to what I'd like. Never mind. But as I say, you can take your time on this. Just see if I can just get these little bits off. There you go. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So I've done my insert, I've done that, and I've done that. So now I need to stamp my greeting. So I'm going to bring back my stamps. And I'll do happy birthday again. But the other thing you can do with your mat is line your stamps up. So where's my happy? Oh no, that's the wrong one. There we go. So just sort of try and line that up with your on your dotted line. Pick that up and then do the same for the birthday. Because they're new stamps, they're trying to stick to my fingers. Put that like so. And I might actually, I'm going to stamp those ones in shaded spruce. So we've got a bit more colour on there. Now I might have put my stamps on straight. Whether I stamp them straight is another matter, but if you try and get your image lined up on your mat, then you can sort of hopefully eyeball it so that it's straight. So that came okay. Actually, I'm going to take that one off so I can see. And then I'm just going to come slightly to the side and then stamp down. There you go. The other thing you can do, which I might do with this one, is I've got some Lost Lagoon ink and I've got a brush. I think I'm going to take the ink from my palette, and then starting off you can then just do a bit of blending ink, and then because you've got ink on the mat you can go back to it. Again, you wouldn't be able to do that on your paper, so just put a bit more on, blend it on your mat, and then come in. Okay, and then wipe with your chamois. So that just gives it just a little bit of contrast. Okay, so now we can bring in our gems and the linen thread. So the other thing that you get with the glass mat is this lovely silicone mat. So it's very, very flexible. And it's perfect for putting things on, keeping them safe. Your ink spots. Now I did have an ink spot out, but oh, there you go. So your ink spots fit in there, which is fab. And then you could use these as palettes with ink. Now with my OCD, I like to keep it white, so I haven't done that. I tend to put in sort of little gems, or like the sequined type things that Leanne was using earlier. You could put those in there and then use your take your pick tool to pick them up so that they're not in one big in one big pot. And yeah, so, and you could use this because it's slightly raised. You could use that for cleaning your brush, etc. But again, I would love to hear what you use your mat for if you have it. Now going back to my side, I've mentioned the product of the month. Here in the UK, it's £70 spend, and then you get the lovely stamp set for £5. And here in the UK, your bonus days, for every £45 spent, you get £4.50 in vouchers. So I can tick that off. Otherwise, I would have completely forgotten. With regards to the vouchers, as Leanne said, if you lose your email, you're not going to get your vouchers back. So what I tend to do is I move my email into a keep safe folder in my email, and I also screenshot my my vouchers, because if you accidentally delete your email, at least you've got photo evidence and you'll be able to type in your code from there. So that's just my little tip. So I'm just going to get some dimensionals. Oh, using my take your pick tool. I think Leanne did a great demonstration with her Take Your Pick tool. This is my favourite tool ever, and I have got several of them, so that I've always got it in my crafting tote. Even if I'm going away, I've got it with me. But this time I thought I can't keep doing Take Your Pick tool for every demonstration I do on tools. I've got to change it up, let somebody else do it. Which is why I chose the glass mat. So I've cut some linen thread, and I'm just going to wind that round my fingers, and then I'm just going to take off the backings of my dimensionals, lay that down, and then just put that on so you've got some of the linen thread poking behind. Oh, I've just flicked my my flowers off my desk, so it's a good job I'd already cut some out and had them to the side. So that goes like that. The other thing I did on my original card is I coloured in the little dots with a black marker, and these are the Stampin' Up markers, which are fantastic. I think you get them in a set of 3, and they're fantastic for journaling as well, or writing in your card, or you know, if you do a stamp and it doesn't come out, the line doesn't come out, you can go over it. But it's a nice little like little nibbed pen. So just quickly go in there. Like so. Then I can glue in my insert. Like that. And then lastly, all I've got to do is put on my gems, taking the Take Your Pick tool again. I like using the putty end to pick up my gems. I know some people like the pokey tool or the spatula, but I like using the putty end. And then just pick that up. So that is the card finished there. So now I need to bring in the envelope. Bring back my ink. Oops. Now you could actually do this in a different colour. You don't have to use black. It depends whether you want to colour it in or not. Let's just make sure I've got the envelope up the right way. I made a card for one of my team, and I wrote it upside down, which wasn't good. And then just bringing in those flowers again. And then you can colour them in as you did, or leave it plain, however you would like. I mean, this plain in the black ink would be good for a sympathy card. Okay, so they're the cards. I hope you like those, and I've inspired you with this set. Sort of just going back to the grid mat again. The other thing that this is really good for, as I said, was the pastels. Now I keep my pastels in an old box. First into inside. And as I say, these are online. And I think the only difference is they've got Flirty Flamingo and I've got crushed curry. So bringing in my Take Your Pick tool again, I'm going to remove the pokey tool, so we've got the spatula. And then how I did my colouring in before, scrape some of that chalk off onto your grid, and then you can pick it up like so, and then colour. The other thing I just want to show you before I go, which is another reason I love this, masks. Has anybody got the Layers of Beauty mask, or did anyone get the 12-day countdown Christmas advent calendar and you got these masks? Okay, so what you need to do is you can put your paper down, and then you can put your mask down with some tape. You can also get a Sharpie pen, and then you can just put your indent of where to line all the masks up, and then you can use your brush with your stencil and do that, and then you can just easy to hold it in place, and you can remove your tape. Okay, and the last thing is blends. I've written all my notes in a Sharpie pen, and all you need is a tissue. I don't know if I've got one on me. Yeah, there's a tissue. You wipe it, and that will wipe the Sharpie pen off. Get your blends. You can colour in with your blends. Put some colour down there. Now, you would think with your blends that you would you know, it would be permanent. Get your I can't remember what these are called, blender pens. I've not used them for ages. Pick the colour up, and you can colour with it. How awesome is that? Anyway, I hope I've inspired you with this set and with the glass mat. As I say, it is a considered purchase. It's one of those ones to save up your hostess for rewards and your bonus vouchers as well. Every little bit helps. And next up is Katie, but don't forget to seek out the demonstrator that invited you to the event if you've got any questions. And obviously we do like to see any of your projects that you've used, from ideas and inspiration that we have shown you today and tomorrow. Please do post them, because we like to get inspiration from you as well. Anyway, have a good evening, a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of the presentations, and I look forward to crafting with you again soon. Take care. Bye.